Soon, the race for Olympic qualification will set off, with the first event in Seoul. In this video, I will look at the different ways to qualify for the Games and see who has the best chance of becoming an Olympian at Paris 2024. The first qualification spots are given to fencers who qualify as a team. Each country with a qualified team may enter 3 fencers in the individual event, so the team events are very important. At the end of the qualification period, the top 4 teams in the FIE rankings are directly qualified for the Games. Currently, these teams are Korea, Hungary, Italy, and Germany. It's worth highlighting that Korea and Hungary lead by a large margin, with the training teams closely grouped. It wouldn't be surprising if France or the USA were to make their way up into the top 4. Let's start with the Korean team. We can expect to see Oh Sang-guk and Gu Bon-gil selected, but it remains to be seen who between Kim Jun-ho and Kim Jung-wan will be picked for the 3rd individual place. Both Kims have been struggling in recent competitions, and outside of major championships, Kim Jung-wan seems to be lacking the hunger he has previously shown. Ha Han-sol and Do Gyung-dong might also have a shot at taking the 4th place, potentially allowing them to appear as reserves in the team event. However, it might be a risk for the national coach to change such a winning team. The Hungarian team is currently ranked 2nd. This team hasn't changed at all since the last Games in Tokyo, and it will probably remain unchanged for Paris. Previously, Zilagi, Zatmari, and Deci fenced in the individual, with Gemesi the reserve in the team event. However, this time it would probably make more sense to select Gemesi for individuals and leave Deci as the number 4. Ilyas and Rab have an outside chance of taking a place, but they would have to achieve some excellent results given how consistent this well-established Hungarian quartet have been. The current Italian team is looking very different to the one that won silver in Tokyo. Montano has retired and Berra is still recovering from a severe injury. Whilst Luca Curatoli and Luigi Samele still remain, the other places will probably be offered to some new offences. Gallo seems to have emerged as the clear number 3 off of the back of his recent World Cup results, but the competition for 4th place is very tough. Torre has fenced a lot in the team events to the detriment of Cavaliere and Repetti, who have shown some serious results. In the past, Neri has been put on the team when Samele wasn't there, so he looks to be ahead of Cavaliere and Repetti. Following the retirement of 3 of the 4 Germans who were seen at Tokyo, a new team is formed consisting of Szabo, Kindler, Bona, and Kempf, who are all clearly ahead of their compatriots. This German team is unlikely to change. The next way to qualify as a team is the zonal route. For teams ranked outside of the top 4, a qualification place will be given to the highest ranked teams of each zone, providing that a team is ranked in the top 16. The 4 zones are Europe, Americas, Asia, and Africa. In the African zone, it is pretty much guaranteed that Egypt will qualify. Currently ranked 9th in the world, only Tunisia can compete, but that would probably require a miracle. The team should be the same one seen last year at the World Championships, with El Sisi, Amer, and the 2 Moataz brothers. In the American zone, the USA is almost certain to qualify. Since Colin Heathcock arrived on the team, as well as Dershowitz and Homer finding good form, the Americans have become a much stronger team. The last place will be contested by a number of fencers. Dodo, Thompson, Makovic, Antonio Heathcock, Williams, and Cohen all have a realistic chance of making it to Paris. In the case that the United States manages to make it into the top 4, this would potentially free up the zonal slot for a Canadian team, most likely consisting of Arfa, Gordon, Cochon, and probably Andrew Way. 3 big teams compete for the 1 Asian zonal spot. These countries being Iran, Japan, and China, who all currently have approximately the same number of points. In recent history, the Iranian team has been the strongest, consisting of Pagdaman, Rabari, Futuhi, and either Zahedi or Baher. However, Japan has been getting rapidly stronger and looks capable of overtaking Iran. The Japanese team will probably be Street, Yoshida, Hoshino, and Kokubo. Meanwhile, this Chinese team should definitely not be underestimated. Yan, Shen, Lin, Liang, and Dai are all currently training with the Bauer Academy in Orléans under their new head coach, former Olympian Xu Yingming. The Chinese saber fencers shine in team events, so don't let their individual results fool you. This is definitely a 3-horse race. Now for the most complicated zone by far. It looks like the Russians will be back in some way or another. The IOC guidelines state that Russian athletes should compete only as independent individuals, so it looks unlikely that they will be able to qualify as a team. The IOC also advises against allowing the participation of athletes employed by the Russian military. Given the number of Russian fencers in this situation, like Kamil Ibragimov, for example, if this is enforced, then Russian participation in fencing may be severely limited. An additional factor to consider would be the possibility that Russia switches to the Asian zone, which they seem to be planning at least for the next Asian Championships. If able to compete, the list of strongest Russians would include Ibragimov, Reshetnikov, and Danilenko as well, and maybe Kostenko. As you may know, Lokunov left Russia and changed nationality. We'll probably see him as well. So the European qualification spot could end up as a battle between France and Germany. France has the privilege of being the host country, so in the case that they don't qualify through the ranking, they may still get a free ticket. However, the French Fencing Federation only has a limited number of these host slots to allocate between their 6 teams. 5 fencers are in contention for the 4 places: Apiti, Pianfetti, Bibi, and the 2 Patrice brothers. The exact composition of the French team is quite uncertain, given the split between 2 training centers and therefore different coaches. Personally, I also think that we should not rule out the Romanians, who have been quite strong recently. Led by Teodosiu, the team also contains Ursaci, Dragomir, and Matei Sidu. It is possible that they overtake France, but they do remain outsiders. The next way for a fencer to qualify would be by ending ranked in the top 16 in the individual rankings. These slots are only available to fencers from countries not qualified as a team, and only 1 fencer per country may qualify in this way. Bazadze and Teodosiu are likely to qualify this way, and if Iran were to miss out on the Asian quota, Pakdaman might be able to get back into the top 16 to qualify in this way. Of those who are still not qualified as an individual or part of a team, the next 2 best Europeans, 2 best Asians, as well as the best American and the best African will get a place. Obviously, this is harder to predict as it depends heavily on which teams are qualified, and the individual rankings are a lot more volatile than the team rankings. For Asia, one of the 2 tickets should go to Sarkisian, while the other going to Streets, Pakdaman, or Yan, depending on which of them qualify as a team. So there are at least 4 fencers competing for 2 places. For Europe, the 2 places will be contested by Kaskowski, Tsap, Thierry, Jagodka, and Bravo. With respect to America, the unique ticket will probably go to Fares Arfa, unless the USA make the top 4, in which case Ditella might have a chance. The African ticket will most likely go to Fares Vajani. The last chance to qualify is through the zonal qualifying tournaments. For each zone, any nation who has not yet qualified anyone may send 1 fencer to compete in a winner-takes-all tournament, with the winner getting to live their Olympic dream. In the African tournament, we may see Giro, Bunabi, Gaye, Samake, Kabaj, Kouassi, and Veitch. For the Americas, Ditella, Monsalva, Quintero, Cuellar or Palacios, Zea, Peckelman, and Kazana. For the Asian tournament, Yan or Shen, Streets, Ho Tse-long, Al-Shamlan, Sinkaran, Al-Mutairi, Aymuratov or Mamutov, Nguyen, Dan, and Mamadov. For Europe, Galkovsky, Tsap or Jagodka, Thierry, Yildirim, Bravo or Madrigal, De Ridder, De Robio, Stoichev, Kranch, and Benedict. We are going to follow these qualifications very closely.